Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful start to your Father's Day weekend. I will not be recording any broadcast this weekend because I'm out doing Father's Day weekend things. However, I will be posting this video and all of the May broadcast highlights on Sunday on Father's Day so I can at least get some videos out to you guys. However, for today's video, we will react to the ticket balance changes that the developers implemented in the game in this most recent update, which happened a couple of days ago at the time of this recording. And I'm going to give my thoughts on this. It's a good thing to see that they are at least making these changes because some of the maps like High Street are kind of unplayable at this point. It's too biased towards one side, and if you know what the result is going to be beforehand, why even play it? These maps have to be competitive. They don't have to be 50-50, but both sides have to have at least a believable chance to win at the beginning of the round. So on top of this, hopefully going forward, we see them adjusting the ticket balances on each of these maps like once a month. Now, obviously not all the maps like they've done in this update, but maybe tweaking a couple of maps. They're based on feedback and reaction, or at least the results of certain rounds. But anyways, if you want more patch notes with the recent update or my thoughts on it, there will be a link in the description for that, and it'll be shown at the end of the video on screen. And then on top of that, if you have any feedback for this video, any comments, discussion-wise, feel free to give it, as the conversation is an always good thing to do, especially for stuff like this. So with that being said, we're going to start off with Eastwood Skirmish. Here's a little video overview of it. I'll show a little video overview of all of the maps, as if you've forgotten what they look like, and believe me, I did a recording of this, got to the drill camp maps, and blanked on like half the maps. So that is there for you and me. So anyways, with that being said, Eastwood Skirmish, they did not change this map. It was a 19% ticket advantage to the attacking side, and they kept it that way. Now, CSA, if they play this map perfectly, they will win. They just got to bounce around and react to the Union quickly. They have 4 flags. Union has 3 because Union has the Sharps Special Regiment. Both sides have Buck and Ball. So in terms of a change, I think you need to give Union slightly more tickets on this map, so I'm probably going to put it in the D tier. It's a bad non-change, I think. You could definitely argue keeping it the same, but if CSA plays well, Union can't compete. So that should stay there. Anyways, we're off now to Hooker's Push. Now, Hooker's Push, it is a 19% advantage to the attacking side, and then they didn't change it. Now, Hooker's Push, it is a much more extreme version of Eastwood Skirmish. You can kind of see Union has to approach up through the cornfield and then take the center of that field. But CSA has strong defensive positions. They can just hold behind a little hill. They can defilade behind it and still be capturing the point. And on top of that, Union has 3 flags. They have a special regiment. They don't have pistols. It's, the 2nd U.S. Sharps at this point. And so I don't know why they didn't change it. They need to give Union more tickets, and it needs to be more extreme than Eastwood Skirmish. Like, you could say maybe a 5% advantage or 5% more tickets for Union on Eastwoods, but for Hookers, Union probably needs much like 10%. So it's a bad no change. Anyways, next map on the list, we have the Hagerstown Turnpike. This is the first map that we have a change. It was 24% ticket advantage before. They moved it down to 14%, so it is a 10% advantage now. They gave 10% more tickets to the defenders. So originally, I thought this change was bad because a lot of the matches I've been watching were very competitive and very close. Maybe you could argue defenders getting 5% more tickets. However, in a recent match, post-update, the attackers destroyed the defenders. It wasn't even close. Union was trying a newer strategy that we've seen a couple of times, and the CSA was not in their defensive positions. And a match pre-update where the Union did the same strategy and the defenders actually held in their defensive positions, it went down to the wire. So in terms of a change, I think giving CSA like 5% tickets is not a bad idea, but 10%, it's too much. So it's too much in the So I'll probably put that down in the D tier. You could argue it being in the C tier, but I think it's too much. Miller's Cornfield. That is the next map on our list. And if you can't tell by the name already, it's all corn. So it was a 13% ticket advantage to the attacking CSA side. It moved down to 6%, so the devs gave the defenders 7% more tickets. This does not make any sense. It is a step in the right direction. Is it enough? No. CSA's got buck and ball on this map. They got shotguns. Union does not have those buck and balls or those shotguns. So if anything, you need to make the map even. Remove the CSA buck and ball, or give Union more tickets than the CSA. So the change is the step in the right direction, but it is not even close to enough. So for that reason, it's weird, right? It's like I want to put Miller's Cornfield at an E tier because Union needs way more tickets, but it is a step in the right direction. So I'll probably put it here. It's okay. It's not what you want. It's not even close to what you want, but it's a start. So a similar thing now with our next map, which is the East Woods. For those of you watching, I'm going in the rotation of the map. It's Woods. Now, before the update, it was a 24% ticket advantage to the attacking CSA side. Now it's down to 12%, so the devs gave the defenders 12% more tickets. But again, it is a very similar thing to Miller's Cornfield. Union, unlike Miller's Cornfield, Union only has 3 flags because they have the 42nd Pennsylvania with the Sharps carbine. They don't have pistols. CSA, their whole team, I think, can get buck and ball. So again, this change, it's a step in the right direction, but Union needs, even if not more tickets than the attacking side. So that's probably why I'll put it at the C tier. Anyways, Nicodemus Hill is the next map on our list. 55% before the update, now 50% post-update. The developers gave defenders 5% more tickets. I don't know if this change was needed. The defenders got the cavalry with the pistols and the carbines. They also have buck and ball compared to Union, who's got none of that. Union has to go across an open field. So I don't think they need to make a change to this map. You could maybe argue Union getting more. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely up to arguing, so I'd probably put it in the C tier here. So I might move Miller's Cornfield Eastwoods down to D tier. I'm very tempted to, but all right. Anyways, I'll ponder on this a little more. Again, this is just my instant reaction. I haven't really thought too much into this. I'm kind of just speaking what I'm thinking as I first think about these things. So next we have. I didn't show Nicodemus Hill. I forgot to change the little photo. Guys, Eastwoods is not Nicodemus Hill. There's Nicodemus Hill. So, with that all being said, off to our next map, which is the Bloody or Sunken Lane. It was a 52% ticket advantage to the attacker side. Now it's down to 42%, so they gave the defenders 10% more tickets. I think this is a good change. It seems like it would be fair enough. Attackers got to charge across an open field. Both sides got buck and ball. So I don't mind this change. I think it's fine. I'd probably put it up here. Now, of course, we'll kind of see how things kind of pan out. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe you could argue a little less tickets. You could put this in the B tier easily, but you know what? I think I'll just put it in the B tier. I don't know if 10%'s a lot. It might seem like a lot, but I don't know. I think it's fine. Anyways, Pry 4, they didn't change this. They kept it at an 18% ticket advantage to the attacking side. Where is that map at? There it is. This map, they need to give Union more tickets. Like slight amount more tickets. It doesn't have to be a lot, because you can kind of see points in the middle of that big field there. Union has to charge across it. It's kind of like Hooker's Push, except CSA doesn't have as good as defenses as they do on Hookers. And I mean, Union, they do have the cavalry with the pistols. CSA doesn't have buck and ball. And I've seen this map played pretty competitively. So, I mean, I think it's definitely a fine no change. If I were to argue anything, it would maybe be Union getting more tickets. So next map on the list is going to be Pry Grist Mill. This is kind of similar to Eastwood Skirmish. It was an 18% ticket advantage to the attackers before the update. Now it's down to 13%, so they gave the defenders 5% more tickets. Union has the Cav with the pistols on this map, but CSA has Buck and Ball, I'm pretty sure. They do. So I kind of don't like this change. It's okay. I'll probably put it down here, though. It's just, if CSA can prevent Union from getting across, I mean, Union has one less flag than the CSA too. If CSA can kind of prevent the Union from getting across, they can do well. I've seen this map kind of go both ways. So I don't know why the change was necessarily needed. Anyways, next we have Pry House. And CSA's got Buck and Ball on this map. Union doesn't. CSA, if they just play aggressive, they win. I'm surprised to see the defenders, out of all the maps here, the defenders not get more tickets on this map. And it's a 17% advantage to the attacker side. So I kind of think it's a bad no change. Maybe you should give Union like 5 to 10% more tickets. But even when Union is able to kind of find a way to make the matches close, they rarely, if ever, win it out. So I think it's bad. Anyways, Westwoods, it was 25% advantage to the attackers beforehand. Now it's down to 15%. Wow, it's Woods. What a map visual change there. But, yeah, unlike Eastwoods, both sides don't have Buck and Ball. And it's still Woods, so it's kind of, there's kind of chaos in all of it. I don't really mind this change a whole lot. It's probably a B tier change, I would say. I mean, it's, you can almost argue it being a, I mean, it feels like a good amount, 15% advantage. I mean, of course, you'll kind of see how it plays it out a little bit, but I don't mind the 10%, actually. Anyways, next map here, we got the Dunker Church. It's a 52% advantage to the attackers before the update. They gave 10% more tickets to the defenders, so now it's 42%. This map, I've heard a lot of complaining from CSA where it's like they could wipe Union in the woods and Union could still just reform and go in. But CSA's got Buck and Ball on this map. Union's does not. And so I think this is probably one of the better changes. Like, Union needs tickets because, as you can see, they kind of got to go through an open field. CSA still has that Buck and Ball. So I think this is probably one of the better changes. So, and I think I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but it's just an initial reaction, right? Haven't seen a whole lot of matches, and so who knows if these thoughts are even valid or not. But next we got the Burnside's Bridge. This map is simple. Union just has to group up, charge across the bridge that you see there, and go left or right. And then that's what Union does. CSA, once Union does that, they just have to collapse down and kind of wipe them out. I've seen a lot of matches really close, and they gave the defenders 10% more tickets on this map, so it went from a 56% advantage down to 46%. I think this change is too much. You could maybe argue 5%, but CSA's got Buck and Ball on this map. Union doesn't. So, and Union has to charge through that small little area there. So I'm probably going to put it down here at the D tier change. I think it's too much. I think it's fine to give the defenders a little bit more tickets, but that's too much in my opinion. Cook's Countercharge. Good old Cook's Countercharge. One of the more CSA bias maps in the game. It was a 37% attacker bias. Now it's down to 22%, so they gave the defenders 15% more tickets. This change is a huge step in the right direction. However, it is not enough. So I'm probably going to put it in the B tier here. I mean, I saw a match recently, post-update, and CSA destroyed Union by a whole morale stage. It wasn't even close. So, again, it's a step in the right direction, but it's still not what it should be. I mean, when the attackers, when one team has Buck and Ball and the other team doesn't, you have to give the team without Buck and Ball some compensation with tickets to make it even. That's my thought on that. Next, we have the Otto and Sherrick Farms. Was a 52% advantage to the attacking side. Now it's down to 42%, so they gave the defenders 10% more tickets. I've seen, especially on larger pops, defenders play this pretty competitively. I think the change probably at least is a little too much. But I mean, maybe 5% is fine, but I think that's a little too much. Next, we got the roulette lane. And so this was a 44% advantage to the attackers beforehand. Now it's down to 39% as they give the defenders 5% more tickets. I like this change. I don't mind it at all. You could definitely argue that it is should stay the same, especially on the higher pops, because defenders are starting to win this more on the higher pops. So I'd probably rate the overall change kind of a B tier. It's nothing crazy. I'm fine with that, but that is that. Next, we got Piper Farm. And what they did with this map, it went from a 37% ticket advantage for the attackers down to 25%. So they gave the defenders 12% more tickets. I don't like this change. The maps have been played pretty competitively as is. You could maybe argue giving the CSA a little more tickets. I mean, most of the time this map has gone down to the wire, but a 12% buff is way too much in my opinion. They need to move that down a little bit. So I would probably rate it at a D tier there. And then our last map for our Antietam rotation, we have the Hills counterattack, and they didn't change this. 8% before, 8% now. I like it. Hills counterattack, it's more of a chess game. CSA can kind of get a ticket lead, so you could maybe argue Union needs slightly more tickets on that map. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure, let me double check. I mean, what, Union doesn't have Buck and Ball, CSA doesn't have it. I mean, I think keeping it the same is perfectly fine. You could maybe argue Union needs more tickets, but I like it. I like it not changing. Alrighty, so that's our Antietam map pack. Now we're on to Harper's Ferry. And our first map is Maryland Heights. I haven't seen this map in a long time. The one time I saw it in pubs this year, I've seen it once this year. It's been halfway through the year, almost. And I've seen this map once. It was a pubs, and the Union side just didn't leave the main spawn because they protested. But Union doesn't have Buck and Ball. CSA doesn't have it, or CSA has it, rather. And so you need to give Union more tickets on this map, or you need to move the Union main spawn. Like, you should move the Union main spawn up to the Overlook, because the thing is, right, is the point's kind of in a little above the center of the little map view there, and Union spawns all the way on the bottom of the hill on that road there. They should spawn up on top of the hill by the Overlook, which is all the way to the top right side of that. But in terms of a ticket balance change, this is not good. You need to give the Union more tickets. I don't know why there was no change here. You could argue if it's D or E tier. I'd probably put it in the E tier because Union probably needs a chunk of tickets. So next you have the Glorious River Crossing. Haven't seen this map a whole lot either because it's pretty generic. You got the pontoon bridge on your left. You got the main bridge on the right side on the little overlook. And CSA has to charge across it. Now this is our first F tier, ladies and gentlemen. Before the update, the attackers had a 66% advantage. And now they gave the defenders, you heard me right, the defenders, they gave them 7.5% more tickets. I don't know where the logic of this one is, personally, because every time I see this, the attackers can never deal enough damage to the defenders to win the game. So I don't know where they're getting this. It wouldn't surprise me if they got all of their opinions from public matches, because they've made decisions in the past from public matches, like the 10-second flag down to 5-second flag change was made because some public players complained. So it wouldn't surprise me if these came from that, but this is probably the first "what are you doing?" map change. So that's that there. Next we have Downtown. They made it from a 24% attacker advantage down to 14%. Defenders can win this game pretty handily if they play it well enough. So I think this is too extreme of a change. You could maybe argue 5% more for the defenders, or keeping it even, maybe some more for the attackers, but 10% in the defenders' favor is too much. But next, we got Schoolhouse Ridge. I've seen this way too much in the past 2 weeks, but it went from a 24% advantage to the attackers down to 12%. I don't mind this change per se. CSA's kind of been able to dominate their way around the map. I don't mind it. Is it the right amount though? I don't know. But I think it's a good step. You could easily put this in the A tier if you want, in my opinion. But next on the list, we got the Boulevard Heights Camp. And it went from a 24% ticket imbalance down to 14%, so they gave the defenders 10% more tickets. This is a huge step in the right direction. I don't think it's enough, though. I mean, what do we got? Union's doesn't have Buck and Ball. CSA does have Buck and Ball, so this is definitely a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. Anyways, next we got High Street, which the CSA attacking side had a 13% advantage. They gave 5% more tickets to the defenders, so they're only up by 8% now. This is I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but I don't know why they didn't give more. Every time I see this, it's not even close. Union doesn't have Buck and Ball. The whole CSA team has Buck and Ball. CSA just sweeps through kind of the top middle of your map here down to that stairwell stone wall there on the left side. They just sweep right through their Buck and Ball. They just push Union down to their spawn, and they're kind of trapped there. It's a step in the right direction, but it's not even close to enough. You need to give Union a ticket advantage on this map, and there's no arguing on that, I think. Anyways, next map, you have the Shenandoah Street, which was a 13% advantage to the attackers. Now it's down to 5%. They gave the defenders 8% more tickets. I don't mind this change at all. Defenders have been able to pull off some last stand, early push shenanigan wins on this map. But, I mean, CSA kind of sweeps through on this map, taking the point really easily. So I think this is one of the better changes on this map. At least makes things a little more competitive in terms of tickets for Union. Maybe you could argue a little more, but I think that's a good change overall. Next map on the list, we got the Harper's Ferry Graveyard. They didn't change this map. It's been 8% advantage to the attackers this whole time. As of late, with the higher pop servers, the defenders can defend the whole width of the map, and the Union has Buck and Ball. I don't think CSA has Buck and Ball. Let me look. CSA, they don't have Buck and Ball. Union does. So they need to give the attackers more tickets on this map, because when the defenders can stack 2-3 guys in a row across the whole width of the map, the attackers aren't going to break through that. So honestly, I don't get the no change. Next on our list, we have the Washington Street. And they made it from a 8% ticket change down to a 3% ticket change. So they gave the defenders 5% more tickets. I love this change. Honestly, probably the best change that we've gone through so far. And that's mostly because the defenders, when they play this map well, they've got Buck and Ball. I don't know if CSA does. Let me check. CSA doesn't have Buck and Ball. But when Union plays this map well, and competitively, they can always make the match close, but they never outright win it. So I think this is a huge change and makes things even, and I think this is probably the best change so far. Next, we have the Boulevard Heights Readout, which was a 34% ticket advantage to the attacking side. Now it's 29%. They gave 5% more tickets to the defender side. I don't mind this. I don't have really any thought on this change at all. I mean, it's kind of just like it is what it is change. I mean, I don't really mind it. I mean, regardless of kind of the tickets on this map, as long as the attackers have some advantage because they have to go through an open field here, if the attackers get into that burn and get a foothold, they win the match regardless of tickets. So you could definitely argue either way. So we'll probably just stick that in the C tier. Anyways, now we're going to do South Mountain, and we're first going to be starting with Garland Stand. They had a 19% ticket advantage to the attacking Union side, and they moved it down to 14%. They gave the defenders 5 more tickets. Every time I've seen this map, the defenders have won by like a morale stage or more, and the only time the attackers have made it anywhere closer than that is by like charging down one side of the map with no flags, bringing their flags down the other side, right? Doing crazy stuff. This change makes no sense whatsoever. It was so hard for Union to win. It wasn't even close. And now it's even more impossible. I don't know if you can get more impossible than impossible already, but this was terrible. Anyways, next map on the list, we got Cox's Push. And it was, they didn't change it. 10% before, 10% now. You could maybe argue Union needs a little more tickets on this map. Because it can be difficult for Union to take that corner. But you could put this in C or D. I think it's okay. Next, we have Hatch's Attack, which they did not change as well. It was 10% before, still 10% now, similar to Cox's Push. I don't know why they didn't give the attackers more tickets on this map. You can kind of see the tree line here. In that, and the defenders just hold on that tree line because the point's kind of in the center road there in front of the tree lines. But CSA's got buck and ball because of the elevation. The Union has to approach close without buck and ball, by the way, and they're down a flag because they have a special sharps company. But they have to approach close because they can't shoot down the CSA. And then CSA just destroys them with the buck and ball. I don't know why it's still 10%. Union needs more tickets, especially on the higher pop. So. Next is Anderson's counterattack. Went from 10% to 5%. Gave the defenders 5% more tickets. You could argue it's not enough, but I think this is. I think it's an okay change. I think it's a thing in the right direction. I mean, CSA, their whole team's got buck and ball. Union doesn't, so it's a step in the right direction, but definitely not enough. Next map, we've got Reno's Fall. Same as Anderson's counterattack, 10% to 5%, gave the defenders 5% more tickets. A step in the right direction. Only half the CSA team has buck and ball in like the first map. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but you could argue Union needing more. And then our last map for our traditional map sets here, we've got the Colquitt's Defense going from a 26% attacker advantage down to 21%. Now, a lot of this is dependent on how the defenders play the game, if they want to play aggressive or not. If they can keep Union out of the woods, that's huge. But I mean, Union's kind of able to get in the woods and bully their way around. They can kind of get a ticket lead. I don't mind this ticket change a whole lot. You could definitely argue keeping it the same, though. So, with that in mind, I'd probably put it in the middle. I mean, it's but with that being said, that is our ticket changes for our traditional. Now we got the drill camp map packs. I've been saying the ticket imbalance changes like the numbers before and after because some players went and tracked those numbers exactly. However, we don't have that for the drill camp maps. We just have how much tickets they were changed. So with that all being said, first we have the Alexander Farm, which was a 7.5% increase to the defender tickets. Every time I've seen this map, the attackers get destroyed. And I mean, Union doesn't have buck and ball. CSA does have buck and ball. And it's really difficult for the Union to kind of break through. So I don't understand this change, per se. I mean, Union may be able to keep it close, but it's hard for Union to play that map. Just because CSA's got that buck and ball. So next on our list, we have Crossroads, which they gave the CSA defense a 7.5% increase in tickets, which I like this change a lot. Last time I saw this map, it was pretty advantageous to the Union. I'd probably say it's one of the better ones, but again, I haven't really seen these drill camp maps a lot, so we'll see on that. Next, we got Smithfield, which they gave the defenders 7.5% tickets. I'm going to be saying that number a lot for these drill camp maps, but what are the weapons on this map? Let's see. Union does not have Buck and Ball. CSA, on the other hand, defense, they have Buck and Ball. I think I've seen Union win this a fair amount, even on a 500-man server. So I think that this is a fine change. Is it the exact amount? I would need to see this map a lot more, because just haven't seen this map a whole lot. Next, we have the Creasy's Cornfield. They gave the defenders, again, 7.5% more tickets. I don't think it's enough. I've seen the defenders get completely blown out on this map, but it's kind of that step in the right direction, so I think that's fine. Then we got Larson Homestead, a 3%, that's new, 3% advantage or buff to the defender side. This is not even close to enough. The few times I've seen this, the defenders have gotten destroyed. Union doesn't have Buck and Ball. CSA doesn't either, but it's such a wide map that even on the higher player pops, the attackers can outmaneuver the defender, which I agree is a good thing, but it's not enough. Like, it's a step in the right direction. However, it's not a good change. So I'm probably going to stick it down in the D tier in terms of a change. Then we have South Woodlot, which is a 3% buff to the defending side. And this is a similar thing to the Larson Homestead. You got to give more to the defenders here. It's just not even close. I mean, I just saw this map the other day. Second time, actually. But the whole CSA team has Buck and Ball. Union has that. So, if anything, I'm going to, now that I remember that CSA's got all Buck and Ball, that's now a bad change. You need to give Union a lot more on that. Then we have the Fleming's Meadow. This doesn't make sense. So, as you can see with this map, you got that little yellow field there. If you go towards the left side, kind of towards the house there, in between there's a little hill there. Point of capture's there. If CSA just holds behind that hill where the point of capture is, they got a huge defilade they can hold there. They have been winning consistently every time I've seen this map, doing that strategy. If CSA plays a more forward defense, like on that snake fence in the yellow field, they will lose the map. But if they hold back, Union has to charge across an open field. And if I look it up, Union doesn't have Buck and Ball, and CSA does have Buck and Ball. This was a terrible change. Union needed more tickets on this map. I don't know why you'd give more to the CSA side here. So, next on the list, we have Wagon Road, which I haven't seen in a hot minute, but it's a funny name. But Union does have Buck and Ball. CSA doesn't have it. However, Union has to pull crazy shenanigans to win this map as is, and you gave more tickets to the defenders. I don't get this at all. Sure, Union has Buck and Ball, but that map's been won by CSA if they play it decently. Like in SSL, when Union did crazy shenanigans, the ABC, when they were leading the Union side, they barely lost, but they had to do some crazy shenanigans. That map is just not great for the attackers because the only cover they have is in that center little patch of woods there, and they can't do much more than that. I mean, they can try to go through the open field on the left or right, but obviously you want cover in your approach. Next on our list is Crossley Creek, which this is okay. I could maybe think it'd be a little bit of a bad change, but I don't see anything too... Honestly, I think I've seen CSA do it... The thing is, Union has had issues the past couple times I've seen this, so I'll probably stick it down here. So, there's that. Anyways, Union Camp, they gave a 3% buff to the attacking Union side. And I mean, this map is kind of neat because of the regiments on this map. I mean, Union's got the 1st U.S. Sharps, CSA. They've got the 1st Virginia Cavalry. The thing is, though, is that the Union has the 1st U.S. Sharps. They just have the Sharps rifle. And the CSA, they have the carbine, I'm pretty sure. But their guys also have pistols. And on top of that, the 2nd regiment for CSA is Buck and Ball. Union does not. Every time I've seen this map, Union gets rolled over if the CSA plays it moderately good. I don't know why they gave 3% to the Union side. So, it's a tiny step in the right direction. but it's a terrible change. Like, it needs to be a lot more. 3 maps left. Our next one is the Pat's Turnpike, which it's a pretty open field here. Let me look at the weapons here for each side. Union's got no buck and ball. CSA's got buck and ball. And the Enfield. So you'll see CSA like to go in that woods on the right side and push in Union. They can hold in this open like dirt field on the left. They got defilades there, but it's far away from the point. Point's kind of in that road in between the forest and that open field there. Which 7.5% seems like a good fit for the defenders. You could argue probably a little more, but again, it'd probably be something where you like gotta see this map a little more. Next on this list, we got the Steffens Lot, which they gave the defenders 7.5% more tickets. The old CSA team has buck and ball. Union doesn't have it. Union usually gets destroyed. I think it's a step in the right direction, but I don't. I think you need some more. I'm going to move Pat's Turnpike up here. But Steffens Lot, you definitely need some more tickets there. For the defending team, I would think. And last but not least, we have the Confederate encampment. They gave the defenders 7.5% more tickets. And I have no opinion on this map. I kind of don't like the map, but I think it's... I haven't seen it a whole lot. The few times I've had it, I've seen it. It might be a little too much for the defenders, but it's kind of like something we got to see. You could easily put this in the B tier, but I think I'll just put it in the C tier. So with that all being said, this is the list that I have for the ticket balance changes. Initial reaction. Now, obviously, this could be proven incorrectly as we play the maps more and more, and maybe they could change it. Again, I hope they do ticket balances over time, like once a month, just adjust a couple of the maps based on feedback and how the maps kind of go. I mean, the bottom 5 could be fixed right away. They need to, in my opinion, because these maps are going to become unplayable or are still unplayable. So with that all being said, feel free to give your thoughts on this little update here. And thoughts on the ticket balance changes. But yeah, I appreciate you all. I hope you have a good Father's Day weekend. And I think the last thing I'll ask is if you think we should bring the podcast back. We kind of took them away, but it seems like some people are interested. So if you have any thoughts on bringing the podcast back, this is just kind of like an individual podcast, if you want to say that. But anyways, I appreciate you all. I could not do these videos without you. It means the world. I appreciate you guys. If you want to support the channel more, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can financially support us by going beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we have our Discord and Clips channel in the description as well. Anyways, I hope you appreciated my yapping, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your night.